Welcome to the Introspection and Banter Podcast. I'm Anthony.
It's only Anthony this episode, guys.
God damn it. I'm Michael.
I'm Gabe.
And I'm Zach.
Tonight we're going to be discussing the future. So, Michael, what are your plans for the future?
That's a tough one there. I don't actually know. It's a very vast world out there. I don't even know if I'm going back to college. That's the real question that has to be kind of presented.
I know a lot of stuff up in the air right now.
Yeah, but I know this. I have a job interview for Jo-Ann Fabrics on Monday, so I'll actually be getting employment. That's good. That reduces some stress for the future.
Yeah,
Congrats.
Pretty cool.
Other than that, growing a YouTube channel.
Is that a long-term goal?
Yes, definitely. It's something that I want to do because I love video games. I love playing and talking about video games. And I love to watch the adventures of others experiencing video games as well.
All right, is just trying to mix your passion in and with content creation.
Mixing my passion in with a hobby. Just to make it all nice and neat.
How about the long-term future?
Long-term future, that I have no real clue about. I guess a lot is. It's weird because I was told, college is the future, and if you gotta go to college, right? It was the little lie that I was told, and a lot of other people were told, and now I'm here in my third semester with no successes whatsoever, and now it's become a very interesting game of, well, do I keep going? Do I stop? What do we do? What happens? Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
And it's just...
Gabe, did you want to chime in on this?
College is the biggest fucking lie everyone society has ever told us. It's like they tell you have to go because you can't do anything without it, and then it's just a scam so that you get into like a bunch of fucking debt. That's all it is. It's like they've created a society where they put such an emphasis on college, but like not everyone needs fucking schooling. You know, like even like when you were kids, teachers would be like, "Oh, if you don't study or go to school, you're gonna end up like a garbage man or whatever." But fucking garbage men make more money than a lot of teachers in this fucking country.
It is weird, the lie that is you have to go to college. Like if you want to do something, if you want to go anywhere, you gotta go through college first. And it's like, it's not really true. I mean, college helps.
Mm-hmm.
But nowadays it feels like a lot of jobs and a lot of entry levels are like, well, do you have a bachelor's? You know, that was the selling point. You go to college, you get your bachelor's, suddenly you've got, you know, the $10,000, $20,000, $30,000, you know, dollar jobs at your doorstep, ready to go. But nowadays, it just seems to me like now you need your master's. Right now, it's the masters that get you the higher jobs. The bachelors, who cares about bachelors? You know, yeah, bachelors is great to wipe your butt with, you know. But like, no, you don't. You did child's play. Go get a master's.
Yeah, a more competitive environment.
Let me chime in here for a minute. So he says you need a master's, right, to get a job, and that, you know, bachelors don't really mean anything. I've talked to some people in the industry of strength and conditioning, which is what I'm going for, and they tell me that your degree means nothing. Nobody's ever called them asking about their degree. Nobody says, how many degrees do you have? What level is your degree? They always ask, how much experience do you have, and what can you do for me? If I hire you, how can you help my business? Okay, you know? So, because once you get the bachelor's in a lot of programs, that's an entry level. Like you got it. That's all you need. You get the bachelor's. At that point, you know, they're not going to ask you if you have a bachelor's because if you're applying for the job, you probably already put that on your resume and you probably already have it. So at that point, they're asking you how many internships did you get? You know, how much, you know, years of experience, 3 to 5 years. And, you know, also you probably have your, you know, strength and conditioning certifications. And obviously you have the CPR and AED ones, you know. So I think I mean, maybe it depends on the career line that you have ahead of you, but in the reality, I think, you know, there is a lot of, you know, weighing for experience based on the degree that you have.
I think college being the main option kind of narrows down this career line too.
I also want to add something else. One of the big issues that I think it is that people are being told, yeah, college is what you need. That may have been the case decades ago, but we now live in a world where we're not just competing with everyone here in our own country. We're competing with everyone everywhere. There's a reason why other people are coming over here for education. They're coming here for jobs as well. You're now competing with a guy who may have had the same bachelor's as you, but then he also speaks like 5 different languages. Or he has a different set of skills than you. And that's really what's important as well. It's not just about the education you receive, it's about what else you can offer to the table. Can you speak another language? Do you do this? Especially if you're going for those higher end jobs, those white collar jobs. There's a lot of other skills you're gonna need than just like, do you know the information?
Yeah.
But they don't emphasize that. Like, that's not being emphasized when we're kids. They're just saying, oh, you just go to college, that's it. So you go to college, you get your piece of paper, and it's just like, well, now what?
You pay back the money you owe.
Yeah, that's it. You gotta pay back the money you owe. I'm asked out of a job because there are no jobs being offered to me. The few jobs that are being there don't pay enough for me to like not go into like to be struggling with debt for the next 20 years. Well, no, 20 years is generous. Let's say for like a good portion of the rest of your working life.
And even then, going into the discussion of, like, it narrows down your field by so much. It's like, because you have to choose your major, obviously. You have to choose what you're going for.
And you're deciding this at like 20.
You're deciding this at like 18, 19.
Yeah, 18.
And even before then, you know. So what you might be interested in now is not always going to be what you're interested in later on in life. You know, maybe when you grow up and you develop a bit more. It's just such a weird little, like, scam.
It
It's
really
such a
is.
weird little lie. I know.
There's this guy I watched. I don't know if he was a psychologist, but he described college as a 4-year vacation for 18-year-olds.
I mean, even nowadays in the modern market where you could do something like, you know, live streaming or becoming your own boss, etc. It's like, do you really need to, like, go to college? Do you need to, like, shorten down your field so much that you only know, like, one thing and one thing in particular, and that's it? Like, I don't know how to do much else, but by God, I know, like, Egyptian studies. I know how to read those.
What was your question, Michael? Do you need college? Was that what it was?
Yeah, like, do you really need to go when you especially...
Okay,
like,
I think that might be
internet?
something we could talk about, like our opinions a little bit about college.
It's just weird.
Yeah, because I think college is resourceful. You can learn a lot from it, but society does make it difficult.
College is helpful if you're dedicated on that craft, but if you're not dedicated on a single craft, right? You're not going in there for any one particular thing, or you're going in and trying to punch out. That's my situation. That's how I ended up in this, like, well, I don't know what I'm doing with college. It kind of does feel like, oh, this is just a mistake.
We need to normalize people just not going to college for like a year or two when they immediately graduate. That's like the other issue is like you're told to go right after graduation when you graduate high school.
That's true too.
Not enough people like just decide, let me take a year or two to just figure out what I want to do and let me work a bit so I can also have a bit of money. Not a lot of people do that, but I feel like that would be helpful. My cousin was one of those people who went to college, did one semester and said, you know what? I don't think this is for me. I'm going to do something else. And it worked out for him. He would have like, instead of spending that money on that one semester, if he would just like taken that year to just like not go to college and decide, do I really want to go? Do I not want to go? It would have been better for him. But I feel like for you, Michael, that would probably help you as well. Just like taking that 1 year off just to figure out.
It definitely would. And the other thing I would do is I would also like to see more of like hey, like here are some jobs that don't require you to go to college. Because in high school for me, it was, it was just, you got to go to college. And at least that's what it always felt like. It always felt like there was that invisible pressure of like, well, you got to go.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You got to go. Everyone goes to college. And it's like, yeah, well, I mean, some people take paths completely differently.
Yeah, that's fine. Like the whole thing of like not going through a normal path. I don't know what it is where people put such an emphasis on get the degree, get a job as like a doctor or a medical officer or something high end. But it's like every job, a society requires jobs in all places. I don't see why there's such a stigma with such blue collar jobs or non-skilled job where like the skills are more on the hand. What would you call that? Hands on or?
Yeah, like trade.
Yeah, there we go. Trade jobs and whatnot.
Yeah.
I don't think there should be this incentive either to be focused in completely, like with what you're going for. Your job is this one and all passion. Like you should like what you do. I agree with that, but it shouldn't be this only main source of joy in your life.
So the real question that I want to bring forward to the table is some places supposedly have started getting rid of college being a requirement to apply.
Yeah, I heard Google. I don't remember what other companies, but that was one of them.
I mean, that's interesting because you always want perspectives that are not, top tier. It's kind of like the problem with like an echo chamber is you end up hearing the same things over and over again.
Yep.
I think knowledge is also just more accessible. Like, some kid might know coding right out of high school. Might be a good hire.
That is true. You can also take college courses online even if you don't get the actual degree. I know Harvard. What was Harvard, right, Anthony, that you were showing me that offers like a bunch of courses for certain subjects?
Yeah.
Online.
They might be free. I can't remember.
They are free. If you want like the actual certification from it, then that's when you have to pay. But the course themselves, like you can take them for free.
How do we feel about that? College just like giving out materials like that for free.
I mean, there's the one bitter part of me who's staring at the debt that I have right now, but then there's the actual part of me who's just saying, I'm glad that's information's free for people.
Yeah, me too.
So, speaking of futures,
yeah,
Gabe,
future.
Gabe, what's your future looking like?
What? This is the future episode? I thought this was the complain about college episode.
No, that's next week.
Oh, okay.
Next week on the podcast.
I mean, we have this fucking thing.
The podcast.
Yeah. Definitely want to continue working on that, actually have a fucking schedule eventually one day and not just upload whenever it's ready. Other than that, I mean, I want to get the fuck out of my house.
I was gonna say, isn't it the goal of everybody just to like get out of where they currently are till they realize the grass is shit on both sides of the fence and they're like, huh. Speaking of grass, and by grass I mean like the gym. And speaking of the gym, Zach, what's your future looking like?
Well, my future looks like a lot of self-improvements. I currently, I'm setting up a schedule in my daily life. Through the weekdays, weekends, I'm it's like resting period, but through Monday through Friday, I will be doing more cardio. I will be swimming. I'm going to start strength training coming up this next week. And I'm going to, try and maintain all that for, well, I guess the indefinite future. Just going to keep, exercising, improving my health. I also am looking forward to doing a half marathon. My first half marathon / marathon-like event that I will be participating in. I'm excited for that in my future. I also am looking forward to starting internships and getting experience that I need for my career, which I hope to eventually become a strength and conditioning coach. So I'm looking forward to get experience. I'm looking forward to going to like banquet, clinical, events, meeting people, networking, and trying to, put an investment in my career.
It sounds like you're working on everything. Like the fuck.
Yeah, I was gonna say this
I
man has a whole entire laundry list. I feel bad now. I was like,
Imagine how I fucking feel. I only said 2 things. Like,
yeah.
So I'm gonna be doing that, and then
He said he's not done.
going into the
oh, fuck.
going into the future, I'm gonna be preparing to take my certified strength and conditioning certification, which is called the CSCS. It's through the National Strength and Conditioning Association. I got all my textbooks for that. I'll be, that's eventually going to be a class I have to take in my senior year of college. So next year when I graduate, I will try and apply for the graduate assistantship. If I get the graduate assistantship, then I will continue on to get my master's. The rest of the time that I have, in between like winter and summer, and until graduation, I'm gonna try and get experience. I'm probably gonna try even maybe get some experience during the semesters that I have classes if possible. Because getting experience and then getting my certifications currently I'm working on a certification to get my CPR and AED certifications as well as a WSI, which is a water safety instructor. So I will be able to teach Red Cross certified, be able to teach up to a level 4 or 5 swimmer, how to improve their strokes, how to do the breaststroke or the side stroke, backstroke, elementary backstroke, as well as the front crawl freestyle stroke. The other one there that I'm gonna try to learn, it looked pretty intense when I saw it in person, but it's the butterfly. That one, when I saw it, I've never done it, but yeah.
Zach, I don't think you needed this much detail. I did not expect to have to take Spark notes on this.
It feels weird seeing a person who has
no, it's awesome.
Everything planned out down to the X, Y, and Z. Especially compared to me
I
and
just wanted this man to breathe a minute.
Yeah, we're gonna do something with our lives.
I can tell you what I want to do over the next X and Y and Z amount of years. I've planned my life out in a certain aspect. I mean, there's some things that I know that I can't control, and life will just come at you, and you just gotta work around it. When life throws a right hook, you pivot, and then you hit him with the left hook. So that's but otherwise I can tell you a generalization of where I'd like to be. That's a good way of putting that. Obviously I can't tell you definitely, because something might happen, but the generalization, and that I know that I'm going to try and manifest as hard as possible that eventually I will become a successful director / head of a strength and conditioning program at a college, and my dream is to one day be part of the 1% that goes pro. So that's my goal. And I understand it will take a lot of work, a lot of training, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of experience. And you got to get real creative with the jobs you pick out in the field. And, it's going to be a while before you make real good money. And I understand that. And because I think I understand that, and because I'm I enjoy the field that I'm in. I really do enjoy it, and I see it in action every day when I go and I clean the strength and conditioning lab that we have at the school. And I can say that I think because of where my mindset's at, that's why I'll be successful. Yeah.
I'm giving you a standing ovation. You can't see it right now, but I'm standing in front of my desk at my computer.
I mean, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. Like I said, as far as health improvements, I stopped drinking alcohol. I might at some point pick it back up but for right now,
Gabe's been drinking your alcohol.
Gabe.
My long-term goal is to not die of liver poisoning.
That's the 10-year plan. It's just not go out. Please hold to your 11.
What else were you saying, Zach?
So I just want to increase my health. I'm gonna keep track of my macros. Consume more protein, carbs. Calories. I kind of look at those, but I'm just as part of my training, I'm just gonna keep trying to improve my mindfulness. I'm gonna try to improve my my mental, my physical, my career, my financial standings, everything. I'm constantly trying to improve myself, because if I'm not improving and I'm not growing, then what am I doing? I'm doing nothing, and I'm just gonna sit there. And I don't like the idea of not improving myself. I think if I'm just not improving myself, then what's I don't know. To me personally, not to I just think that's not a life worth living, is to just sit there and be like, I'm not doing anything. But I know that some people do apply. They do really try, and at one point I didn't know where I was going to go in my career. I really didn't. I sitting there in the apartment trying to figure out, do I take this road or do I take that road? And eventually I just kind of buckled down and said, you know what? This is we're gonna do this. We're going all in. Put all my all my chips in, and I've been in there since, and I've enjoyed it so far. So that's my TED talk.
Hell yeah, brother!
Yeah, so
Anyway,
I'm taking his plan.
You're gonna take his plan. You're gonna go back to college and.
I do actually. I do plan on going to. Let me start short term. I have a date tomorrow.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Enderman.
And then so this year, I'm working on a portfolio to submit for grad school.
For what?
So I'm hoping to. Yeah, I know we're dissing college a lot, all right?
Irony.
How dare you?
Get on the program.
Yeah.
So that's probably like a 2-year, like a goal 2 years from now. Then what else do I got going on? Oh, this year I've been doing pretty good about my health as well. I mean, me and Zach are in group chats and we talk about it, and we're also trying to do a half marathon. So I've been getting running in. I haven't drank alcohol in over 2 weeks.
What's that like?
I have been eating very well for myself. Pretty high in protein too. And before we started the podcast today, I was doing an upper body dumbbell workout. I'm also learning guitar.
Gabe, does it feel like, we're underachieving over here? Just being like, yeah, we just want to live. Those two, on the other hand, they're like, yeah, I want to live, get swole, get 10 children, get a house with a 401k, and we're just like, yeah, we just want to see tomorrow.
Yeah,
hopefully next Saturday.
Get good role models.
And this is like the only episode that I feel like shit. Like I've been made to feel like shit. Like what the fuck, dude?
That was actually the trick, Gabe. That's
honest,
why we brought you into this.
This is your guys' intervention.
Yeah, this is our intervention.
Anthony,
this is you telling us we need to do more.
Anthony, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's a book you've read lately, and what books do you plan on reading in the future?
Okay. I was
Hungry
reading
Caterpillar.
Damn, that's a classic.
Marcus Aurelius. Fuck's his book called?
I
Man,
said
came out with a fucking Marcus. I'm dead.
Is it The Raven or something? Shit.
Isn't that the Raven's Edgar Allan Poe?
Yeah, I'm sure you're right. There's a raven on the cover.
There's a
The
raven
color
on
of
the cover.
ravens, yeah.
Color.
So while he thinks about
Meditation. It's called Meditations. It's his personal journal that they turned into a book, and it's just him talking, self-reflecting on life. He talks about how he wants to be more like, he wants to take qualities from his friends and peers, like his father. He's like, I want to be more like him in these aspects. That's one I'm currently reading. One I want to read. I've heard people recommend The Alchemist and Atomic Habits. I don't want to push too many self-help books, but yeah, I've read a couple of those. Other than that, manga. I like manga.
Mangoes.
That's awesome to hear. I'm glad you got a lot of, books that you have coming up here in the future that you're gonna be reading. It's always, it's always good to keep your, mind sharp and grow the vocabulary.
The real question is, when is he writing his book? When is that happening?
I'm working on.
You're working on it?
Okay, so realistically, I'm just working on putting together short stories right now to submit to get into grad school and work on my book while I'm in grad school. But I'd like to work on the book on the side. It's hard with job and the other shit that I got. Didn't you hear about this whole plan I got? Where am I fitting a book in all this?
And see, that's your guys' problem. You have
Yeah,
too much slated. Me and Gabe over here, we got nothing.
Blank fucking sheets of paper.
Yeah,
bro.
we
can
got
put whatever we want.
Yeah, exactly. We could put in a road trip and we'd be fine.
Exactly.
You guys are trying to fucking fit in slots and all that. It's terrible. It's a terrible time.
Feel bad for you, man.
Yeah, I'm slowly working on the book, but don't expect it to come out anytime soon, I'd say.
Speaking of terrible times, how do we feel about the Earth slowly going to hell?
Slowly, bro.
I don't mind.
Didn't
You don't mind?
the Doomsday Clock got moved again recently?
I guess. Well, I don't know about Doomsday Clock, but yeah, I guess like the fucking with all the shit that's been going on with the Earth and all that, like fucking climate change.
Yeah, climate change, World War III on the horizon.
Dropping an ice cube into the ocean,
Fucking, I would not be surprised if like next week we find out, hey, that fucking the thing got defrosted from the ice and now it's making its way to North America. I was like, oh,
I've never seen the thing.
I should practice too.
Let me put that down. Let me put that down to my empty slot there. Let me.
What, the thing?
Fill in. Yeah, go watch the thing. Since I got nothing else going on for a while. Yeah, no, it's future of the world. It's kind of fucked, ain't it?
It's not great. I mean, I don't know. I feel like people have always thought the world's been fucked, but it seems way more relevant now, especially when we have more scientific proof to back things up. I just try not to let it bother me. It's not that I'm actually not bothered. I just try to remain apathetic and think, oh, you know what? Like, I probably won't be here in 90 years.
Lamau.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. It's easy to dismiss when you're an ant in the giant scope of the world. I just figured, future, fucking maybe flying cars and shit. Starting up on those hover bikes.
Oh, what about the new Apple glasses?
You think the Apple glasses? Have you seen the memes about those?
Aren't those fucking
Yeah.
bulky as shit?
They're wonky. Not only are they wonky as shit, but also because they're like see. Hello there, everybody. Welcome back to the Introspection and Banter Podcast. We ran into a technical issue, and by technical issue, I mean Craig died. Craig being the bot that we use for the videos and the audio recordings. He had a maintenance update. So if the audio sounds weird and wonky, I'm sorry. I'll try my best in post to fix it and make sure that it's all A-okay and nice and neat. But we were talking about the Apple goggles and the memes that have come from those of like people just watching football games while behind steering wheels.
Bruh.
It was a meme. It was a meme to witness those types of events. And we were also talking about future and the future of things and the futures of our lives. So, does anyone have any future things? Any concerns about the future?
I'm not doing a good job of the liver thing right now.
Your liver's compacting right now? Do we need to take it to the hospital?
Nah, I just am drinking again. You guys took too long to set up.
Damn. What a shame.
Dang.
Damn.
Concerns. Are you talking like for ourselves or like major worldly?
Yeah, we talked about the world briefly, but that was only for like a couple seconds. When we were like, yeah, we're small. The world doesn't matter here. It's a different construct, it's a different beast.
It only affects all of us. Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares that a random war out in the middle of nowhere is going to affect our bottom line, you know?
I mean, one of the biggest things that I know recently is just it everything costs so much, it seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, inflation. God, it's a terrible thing.
You know how expensive beef is right now?
Do you know how expensive the 5-layered beefy burrito is at Taco Bell? That was $1 when it dropped. Now it's like $5. That's how you know inflation's bad.
Zach,
And the beefy burrito is too expensive.
Zach,
Yeah.
what you know about inflation?
What do you mean? What do I know about inflation?
Dude, don't you buy shit at Sheetz and Taco Bell all the time?
Oh yeah, I mean I could tell you that I've noticed different price changes on some of my more favorable items at Sheetz. I believe one of the items I would get would be a mac and cheese cup. That has gone up $1, I believe. I think at one point it was $3.49. And now I think it is up to like $4 or something like that. Maybe it was $2.49. Now it's at $3.49. But I definitely realized at some point there was definitely a price increase, as well as the fact that you can get a grilled cheese steak burrito from Taco Bell, and that's like $7. Like that burrito is like $6 and some cents. Like, okay, when I buy it, and so I've definitely noticed even like appetizers, app sampler at the Sheets, and other things have definitely gone up in pricing.
It's been a wild and wacky world, especially since a lot of the older generations of people just kind of like look at us and just go like, yeah, just deal with it. Just make your own buck. And it's like, I wish I could. I wish I could afford things.
I can make my own buck. The thing is, I'm gonna need quite a few bucks.
Exactly.
Like back then, they could go to college. It was way cheaper. They could buy a house. Dude, they could work at like McDonald's, still support a family. It seems like. I don't know. I wasn't alive during that time.
Nowadays, though, you need like 3 jobs, and then you can maybe have an apartment.
Yeah.
It's a crazy time. Crazy times. So.
Yeah.
Alphas are gonna be fucked, bro. Gen A, Gen Alpha, whatever the fuck they're called, they're gonna be fucked, bro.
I think at that point it's gonna be a new layer of grief. I think Gen Z is the like acceptance.
Right? You
We're
had
like,
the millennials.
yeah, all right, we know the world's fucked. Who cares? Whatever.
Millennials were crying about it, and then like Gen Z came along. We're just like, everybody knows shit's fucked.
Yeah, millennials have their tight jeans that they're trying to still brand
Fit into.
as a thing. It's a very weird time to be alive.
Loop.
The real question, though,
Yeah, go
that
on.
I wanna present to people is the human and Zach. This is probably gonna be more up your alley. Do you think technology is gonna affect a lot of people, especially in like strength and conditioning?
Yes. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And the thing is, as technology continues to advance, it'll most certainly have an impact on studies, journals. It'll have an impact on programs. It'll have an impact on the efficiency of how facilities are run, how the infrastructure. Just there's going to be so many different things that may change over time as we continue to advance, in the future. Like I said, there are lots of studies. They have, these events that people go to. Well, they'll have speakers, and they'll present new studies, and they'll bring up topics, and then the people, will have discussions about the topics, and as we find out more information. So I definitely think that as we go into the future, and we think about the different, technological advancements that we see, whether it's more of a equipment-based technology, or it's a technology that is going to be more program-based for, a client or an athlete, one
Can you
that might
describe
be
that
more.
a little bit? I'm just not sure what that.
So
meaning.
I would say like based on. I would say it was a new technology and a new idea to have 3 to 4 day work weeks and have more, days off. Okay, that was a new concept, and I think that developing programs and then maybe
I don't know
changing
if that's
the.
technology, but it is a new
Well,
concept.
it's definitely like something new, right? But
Yeah.
changing the times or changing the, ways that we may go about our, programs. So I think that if they go into the future, there'll be lots of different things, as we go forward, that'll definitely have an impact.
Yeah, is it too early to say if that's a negative or positive?
I think the answer to that is positive.
I think so. I think it's good. I think some technology is going to be negative.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to be a case of the road to hell was paved with good intentions, and or like in order for us to get to where we are, it took a lot of blood and sacrifice.
Yeah.
Because I definitely think like in terms of like the ability to plant a neurochip inside of a person's brain that can pick up on when they're about to seize. It's like something like that's an incredible amount of technology, but the amount of failures that would have to come beforehand.
That's gonna suck.
Yeah, like that's like I said, it's gonna be a case of like this is gonna be absolutely like groundbreaking, revolutionary technology. It's gonna take just so much to just get there, though.
Yeah, it sounds like there's a lot of pros and cons involved.
Shout out to those people willing to take the risk, though, for the rest of us.
Shout out to those people getting Elon Musk's neurotechnology in their heads so they can play MP3 music.
How is that like, bro?
I don't know. It's like, would that just be bumping out of your brain? Would your brain just have a constant headache? Be like, man, this is great. I can listen to Lady Gaga on the go, but my skull is splitting.
Can't wait to hack it so that all it plays is never going to give you up nonstop.
That's another thing, security concerns.
This kind of reminds me of Cyberpunk. Like, pull it out of somebody, see what they last saw.
We have like already security concern with the basic technology we're putting in our bodies. You know, apparently for certain type of heart pacers, they are hackable.
Yeah.
So theoretically,
There was a toothbrush hack recently.
oh my god, smart brushes.
Especially with like the man self-driving cars.
Yeah.
Being able to like hack it so it would just turn on by itself.
I remember there was a meme back when those were still like pretty big and new, where they were saying, oh, we could get, instead of having like things attached to cars, we can just have it running on Bluetooth or something, like a trailer following your car behind you with all the stuff you need to carry. And then someone was pointing out we could have like piracy on the highways because people start hacking those signals to like steal trucks, or rather like the little like carriers or whatever, and you essentially lead them away from where the actual cars are supposed to be following. You can steal all the stuff in it.
I like how everything will just resort back to basic piracy and chicanery. It's the modern day.
Is cybersecurity a concern for either of you?
Always.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, especially since like, you know, we'll go back to the signals. You can fry it. Because clearly this thing can heat up, because obviously it needs to work like that, and it can expel heat. So what's just stopping a person from hacking into it and going, I'm just going to melt your brain by literally heating up this chip so it boils. And then suddenly, your brain is not having a very good time.
That's one way of putting it.
I mean, it's grim. It's a very grim outlook, and you know, it's very much like that it would take so long, but it's just one of those things where like this is possible.
You just gotta pray that the cybersecurity is there.
I mean, you just have to pray that it's just so tight and so good at recognizing like problems in areas where this thing can happen, or else, you know, hey, like, all right, well, I guess we're done. Bye bye human race. And it's a terrible thing to think about, but like it is something you have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
You know, same thing with the pacemakers. Like, yeah, you can hack them so they just stop, or they keep going beyond the recommended. Cars, the same thing. You can get into those and set it up so that way, you know, they don't recognize anything and keep driving, or, you know, especially because like things can be hacked.
Yeah, big concern. There was something I wanted to bring up. So in terms of technology, I mean, so humans, we've been around for hundreds of thousands of years, and recently technology has advanced to a point where I feel like our brain isn't completely ready for it. Like dopamine addiction, I feel like it's so easy for us to get dopamine because of technology.
There's also like other shit, not just the dopamine thing. Has just how to explain this? We're very tribal people still. We haven't evolved past that yet. Because of technology, we've gone to like a very connected global world. It's causing its own issues.
Not
if you
only
get what I'm
that,
saying.
but also going back to like things like neural chips, in like the very far off future, what's stopping a neurochip from affecting your dopamine levels?
Oh shit!
What's stopping a neurochip from just going, you're now going to be happy all the time?
Oh,
like
kind of.
I'm gonna shoot this over to our strength and conditioning expert over there, Zach. Zach, what happens when your brain gets on dopamine? Just give us a rough rundown.
Crack an egg on a skillet.
Wait, hold on. My headset just paired. Oh, wait. All right. We're good.
Starting.
I don't know. My headset was making funky sounds a second ago, and I was like, oh, wait,
So,
hold on.
We're talking about chips in the brain, and we just made mention of like a chip in the brain just permanently like pumping you full of dopamine, and so I wanted to ask you, just give us a short thing on what happens when the brain is on dopamine regularly.
Well, I mean, whenever you experience dopamine, obviously you're gonna feel more satisfied and motivated. You're gonna feel happy, You're gonna feel, a lot better. Your memory is gonna be better. You're gonna have better mood. You're gonna be able to concentrate more, and have a lot more, better just bodily functions. But having dopamine like excessively, constantly hyper dopamine, I guess you could say, would certainly have some drawbacks. Now, I'm not sure right now what the drawbacks would be. I haven't really studied the chemistry of the brain too, in depthly. I think that'd be more of a psychologist or like a neuro type person. I'll focus on getting gains.
No, I know, but that's what I was asking you. Like, just give us a basic rundown of the brain on dopamine, and it's like, now picture that, but like permanently. Like you could just sit there and go, this is too much. I'm gonna go on dopamine now.
Dopamine, if I'm not mistaken, after a while your brain starts to build a tolerance for it.
Yeah, that is something that happens. Your brain will start to. That's why I was kind of like, I wasn't completely sure of all the drawbacks, but you definitely will create a tolerance, and you will need to get more dopamine. That's kind of like taking a substance.
Yeah,
it may it'll raise your levels of dopamine, and satisfaction. So you'll need to do it again and again and again in a higher quantity to get a higher sense of dopamine.
That's exactly why I bring it up. Is usually when it comes to drugs, is that they still need to keep going higher and higher because their brain builds a tolerance to it, and then also, once that high is gone, the dopamine levels have receded. You need it. It's like you build a dependency on just the dopamine, so you need to get that high again, which in turn causes more tolerance to build up, which in turn causes you to take more.
It's crazy to think about, like, because it's connected. If a neurochip connected to the brain, which could constantly pump out those signals, even if the brain starts to develop a resistance to it, if the chip is strong enough, it could probably just keep punching right through it. We're probably gonna see people for the first time in the year, probably way beyond our years, but in the year 2300, with just the ability to just have no needle marks, no vape clouds, etc., but still have the effects mentally on their psyche, the addictions without the substance.
I mean, they did a test similar. It's not exactly the same, but there was a rat, and they gave it, I think it was poisoned water, and they gave it regular water. And the poisoned water, it gave him this trippy feeling. Like, it made him happy, but it wasn't good for him. And he kept... Actually, there was a lot of animals that, they'll kill themselves to get this feeling. Just dopamine, it can... I don't know, it does so much to your brain chemistry.
No, it's a crazy thing to think about, in those future years of, neurochips and all that. Or, like replacing your arm, or hey, we have the ability now to give you back the ability to walk through like nanobites and all that.
Nanomachine, son.
Some of that stuff would be cool.
I mean, I think we would definitely see a lot of like arguments being made back and forth about like, oh, science is a fantastic thing. Look at what it's done to my child, and people just going, yeah, but this isn't the God-given way. I definitely think that's going to be the biggest issue. Is
people not wanting it. There are real reasons to like be cautious with technology. I never like the argument of that's not the natural order. All the shit we do without technology is not the natural order. We do it anyway. You think we're meant to be fucking like doing half the shit that humans be doing?
I was thinking the atomic bombs as soon as you said that.
I mean, yeah, that was an event.
No, we are the only. That's one way of putting it.
It was a bit of an oopsie moment for us here in the States.
There was a lot of oopsie moments in that period of time from everyone, to be honest with you. To go back to what I was saying, like, you think fucking we were meant to count on our hand the way we do? No, right? Because when you try to do the number 3, how fucking weird does your fingers feel? Because the tendons were not meant to split like that, or to move in that manner. Yeah, we still fucking do it. We're the only creatures, as far as I know, that actually cook our meals. No other animal on this planet cooks their meals.
It's wild.
So we do shit that's not part of the natural order. Don't hit me with fucking science is unnatural. Yeah, mankind itself is not completely natural either anymore. Who said it best? Is like man is no longer held hostage by the environment, but now it shapes the environment that it's in.
Yeah, I don't honestly.
That
type of future technology, I don't even think we should have when we can't even like keep our own nukes safe and protected.
There's about I think 17 nukes that are missing to this day.
Yep.
Really?
Some of them also lost. Go ahead.
I was gonna say they've lost them, and I mean literally, they've dropped them accidentally somewhere, and it's missing. Like they can't find them, in some circumstances. Like I think one's in a swamp somewhere. They know where it's at. They just can't get it. It's stuck in there.
It's also some of the technology that they're using is still floppy disks.
I mean, it's protected, no? Floppy disks, they can't be really hacked compared to here's the computer.
Yeah, but it's also it's more of the principle. It's the concept of the world-ending device that if one sent off could cause an entire chain reaction is currently being withheld to a device that could maybe just barely run Oregon Trail for the Commodore.
Listen. Optimus Prime could fit on a floppy disk, so I think the nuke codes can fit on a floppy disk. That is canon, by the way, guys. Look it up.
Wow.
1984's Marvel's Transformers, they put his brain on a floppy disk.
Do we know how many kilobytes?
I think we do, actually.
Prime is?
I think they actually say it. I just don't remember the exact number.
That's funny. I have a question.
What's up?
Where do you guys think society's going?
To hell.
To hell?
Oh, I mean, society will always progress. I mean, we're right now, and I'm going to touch on this briefly, and this is going to be it. The whole transgender thing is something that no one, I don't think, could have ever really suspected would become a thing. And now it's everywhere, and it's surgeries and medicines and all that to help with that. I think society in its future is always going to be something that's going to push the limit, and we're going to look at that and go yeah, but is it? Should it? Do we really? I mean, let's robot rights. Like, oh, do robots really have rights? We program them, but they think for themselves.
Are they sapient is the real question.
Yeah, do they pass the Turing test?
Question is, do we even know what fucking sapience is?
Sapiens, I think, is...
How do you measure that?
We'll just use the Star Trek Next Generation episode where Data goes and gets goes to trial. It was an episode. It was an episode that actually covered this exact topic of like, what is a robot sentient,
alive or not? And I think I forgot what they decided. They said that he does have right because they wanted to experiment on him, and Data and Picard and Data are like, nah, and then fucking they were trying to essentially be like, well, he's a piece of tech, we need it, so you gotta give it to us.
And they're like, no, but he has thoughts, he has feelings, he has the ability. And then, like, well, the big argument that they made was like, oh, but we were designed to explore strange new worlds and seek out new civilizations. Is this not one of them? And then they gave it to Picard because plot. But they, like, you know, in that same context, like,
because not like it fucking matters. Because they fucking... Go on, sorry.
I was gonna say, because the computer can think, is it sentient?
Good question. I know in Data's case, I think it's pretty obvious that he is alive, but I would argue. So when we talk about artificial intelligence, we gotta think about artificial intelligence, and then the other thing, which is not just artificial intelligence, but like an artificial intelligence that can think of new things. Because AI, as it stands right now, is not really thinking for itself; it's just predicting based off the information it has. I forget the term for this, but an AI that can actually think for itself can create new sets of data based on its own thoughts, essentially. Not necessarily having the information, but it can actually generate its own thoughts without it, just because of what it currently has. I'm not explaining it very well, but...
Well, my question, to counteract that question, is what do we count ChatGPT as?
That's just artificial intelligence, my guy. Chatbot, a very, very...
yeah, but it's able to take data and communicate it to us.
Yeah, but it's predictive text. Like, it's just deciding like what it should say based on what it has. It's not necessarily like creating new thoughts with it. It's also gotten dumber.
Stuff it already has.
Yeah. ChatGPT has gotten dumber since its inception, just because the data it keeps getting is not necessarily the smartest thing it's trying to get. Same issue with the internet. All the information you have, not all of it's of good quality, though.
That's true.
I think that's going to happen to a lot of AIs that are using like the public as its own data set. It's going to get dumber with time because people are fucking stupid.
So what's everyone's thoughts on something like the Apple headset, and do you think VR headsets are going to get more sophisticated? You think we're going to reach that point where you can have it in your eye and look around and communicate like that?
Well, is the Apple headset VR or is it AR?
It's
AR.
It's AR, so it's not VR. It's a different thing entirely.
Yeah, it augments your reality. Yeah.
We've had augmented reality goggles for like a while. We had the Google Glass, which failed. Apple Vision Pros, and then just the latest attempt at trying to make another AR goggle.
I think it's a fad, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. VR, on the other hand, VR has had a few times where it tried to like get into the mainstream. It's been around since like what, the 80s or 90s. Technology has gotten better. It just, like Anthony said, it has been fads in the past. I think this is the first time it actually has come out and has like some manner of staying power. Part of it, I think, is just technology has advanced to a point where it's actually enjoyable. Like, I enjoy putting on my VR and going in VR chat for a bit and playing The Walking Dead on it, but back in the day, I don't think it was possible. It's
also becoming more affordable and convenient.
And that's the other thing I was going to say is, like, now that you can actually buy it and actually own it commercially, that's what really matters. Right now, as it stands, the Apple Vision Pro, that's like a few $1,000s, right?
3,500, I think.
Yeah, about 3,500.
Yeah, that's not viable for like a commercial for the market. So I don't think it's gonna last very long unless that price changes. They create a version that they can actually be afforded by the people.
I hear me out.
Kind of hard
Apple,
breaking up.
Apple. Literally, I don't even know. Like, they come out with a product, and most of the time, it'll sell well just because it's Apple. And because Apple, from my experience, in using their technology, you know, you compare it to like Samsung or like, you know, Google Pixel or something like that. There are some features, obviously, like, you know, customizations and stuff like that, it, you know, might not have. But generally, I think that a product that Apple has come out with, I think is generally good. At least I think so. And I don't think they're bad. I think that they can do, you know, they can do things, and the things they can do, they do them well. And you know, and that's all that's, you know, like, important. There are a lot of features that they don't have, but the things they do have, they can do them well. I definitely think the price for the 3,500 is definitely steep, and like the people that are going to be owning that are definitely going to be people in higher, I guess, like bracket of living. Yeah, for sure. Like, you know, like maybe like higher middle class or like rich or something like that. I like right now because 3,500 is quite a bit to just drop on like a headset. Like that's like, you know, that's quite a chunk. For some people, some other people, it's like that's nothing. So
I mean, well, yeah, but then we're getting into the economics of things and.
I'm just saying, I think when it comes to tech, tech in tech in general, it depends a lot on the market too, though.
Tekken?
Yeah.
Tech in general, my guy. Tekken too, but because the tech that's around has been around for a while. A lot of times, it's just it hasn't been accessible, thus it hasn't really been used by people. Because really, if we're talking about technology affecting society, we gotta talk about when the tech is actually available for everyone to use. VCR is a great example. VCRs were around way before they hit the market. A lot of companies didn't want them hitting the market. That was the issue. So they managed to actually keep it from entering like the consumer's home for a while before eventually it managed to make its way there. One of the big issues they had was piracy. People recording shit on their VCRs and shit.
The world will always result to piracy. I'm fully convinced.
Yes.
Democracy will always fail.
Piracy is an availability issue.
What was that, Gabe? Gaben?
Yeah.
Oh.
He's not wrong. He's not completely wrong. I think we talked about this actually on a piracy episode.
Like 10 episodes ago.
So once again, piracy. Classic.
Yo, ho, ho. Skull and Bones, my guys, play it.
Yeah, when are we doing that?
Well, the beta ends in 2 days. I've been playing it for the last 2 days.
And you never invited me.
Okay, do you want to play at 7 o'clock in the morning? Exactly.
Listen, alright, Gabe, you have a full schedule ahead of you. You have an available schedule. You can find something. We'll work something out.
Well, you know, the beta ends tomorrow, so we can probably figure something out tomorrow.
Maybe.
Alright, thank you guys for listening. I've been Anthony.
I've been Michael. Fuck. Gabe, go for it.
I've been Gab.
I've been Zach.
And this has been the Introspection and Banter Podcast.